Welcome back to another episode on the Nori Factory. Thank you for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Today we're going to be doing lots of fun stuff. I got to finish off the R32 Frenchie's Performance Garage air conditioning kit. So this kit included the brand new condenser. It's got the new spout fan. You get a new switch, you get new lines, you get a new air conditioning pump, of course, AC compressor, which is absolutely insane, and of course our beautiful lines through there. Let's finish off this air conditioning kit. We'll be moving on to do, well actually I might start off to do some sensor stuff, start running some sensors. I'm really interested in this sensor block. I think it's cool. I mean, obviously our oil pressure and oil temp needs to be in running fluid, so I do have a coolant one which will be in the running, so that'll go in the top just here. Anyway, it's Christmas holidays, actually no, today, what is it, New Year's Day. Let's get stuck into it. New year, new me. When you get the Dartone drive-by-wire kit, it comes with the fittings which we had welded on, which we shown in an episode. We weld onto the vacuum rail, which we get good manifold pressure and vacuum pressure, and I changed that over to this nice Raceworks E85 hose, so that's already there to go. So instead of going to both the clutch master cylinder and the brake booster, it just goes to the brake booster. So we'll tidy that hose up shortly. So that one there comes from oil pressure, so that's oil pressure actually on the side of the block, so into one of the main galleries. And then this one here is manifold pressure, MAP, so that'll go to our MAP sensor. And then I do have a Raceworks Motorsport temp and pressure sensor. That's it there. So you just see that sensor, that's going on to that's the intake pipe for the oil pressure, which comes from our Barnes pump down here. So that we won't have run up here, that'll just go straight back to the ECU. So lots of little fun stuff. I'll set up all our injector wiring now. I'll tape as much as I can, but I've only got one hand and I want to do a fair bit of work. So that's the finish wiring loom, and like it looks much better, just tidied it up. It's more of a factory wire or a motorsport wiring loom now instead of just the factory one. Plus it doesn't have all the other sensors that we're not using. So this is literally just going to be a knock sensor loom now, which is pretty cool. So put our new ends on it and then we're done. So it's time to hook up our aircon lines now. I've finished the knock sensor wiring loom. I made it a little bit long because I just copied the factory wiring specialties one. I probably should have just measured it, but it's fine. It can, better to be too long than too short, that's for sure. That's what she said. No, so we finished the knock sensor wiring loom. Come up really well. It's like a motorsport grade wiring loom now. So what I'm doing now is I'm hooking up the aircon stuff. So to start off again from where we left off with the aircon stuff, I've got the condenser down in, it's just sat in. All these hoses and lines here are just sitting there. I haven't done any of them up yet. I've got my two main supply and return for the aircon through there, all hooked up. So that's done up tight, but we can sort of bend and move them until they relax down into where they need to be. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going to hook the lines up to the AC compressor, that's the power steering pump, sorry. AC compressors down there, so we've got our in and our out, and I'm just doing these fantastic lines that Frenchie's Performance Garage supply with their kit. These things are second to none, absolutely gorgeous. It's literally like a factory aircon kit. Before I get stuck into any more of the Frenchie's Performance Garage AC kit, I want to reiterate that this, while being a kit, it does require some mechanical skill. So just make sure you go into it. Like any aircon system, it has to be gassed by an authorized tradesperson or an AC expert, as you would call them. But yeah, this kit comes with clear instructions and it is very easy to fit, but just keep in mind that you do require some pretty good mechanical skills to fit it. Now don't let that deter you away from purchasing the kit, because I'm sure anyone watching the channel will be able to tackle it. What we're going to do is we're going to fit our hoses into the actual AC compressor now. So it comes with these little plastic inserts in it with a bolt going through it. Now we're going to throw away this plastic insert, but we're going to keep this bolt, because that bolt will actually go through and hold in your retainer, which changes it over to thread so we can put our AC hoses on. That pops in, check your O-ring, make sure it's all okay, and then simply come in down there like that. You'll feel it, it'll click in nicely, and then you want to use your bolt that came out of the plastic insert to simply hold this one in, nice and easy. So next one, we've got our hose, which has got the little bracket here fitted onto it. So you can see there, same sort of concept, except this time the bolt goes through this bracket, and you got to make sure this O-ring is lubed up and pops straight in. Okay, so we got the aircon system pretty well all bolted up now. I've just got to do some wiring, but I'm not going to do any of that wiring just yet because I may be running a PMU. When I say the AC, I mean the AC fan. So the air conditioning compressor will just work off the factory R32 GTR wiring, and you just got to change a plug over. I'm changing mine to a lot of Deutsch stuff, and I recommend you guys do as well. So I'm going to leave that for now, and I'm going to jump over to this side again. We're going to start with a bit of wiring at the top. I'm going to get our injector wires down in place. I'm pretty sure these are Bosch connectors, so I don't think I have to change them over for the new injectors. I'm watching my boy Ryan in Pure Function. Check him out, guys. He's like the 2J king. He's a Raceworks guy too, so check him out. So what I've actually found is the R35 coil kit for a R33 actually has, it's got its big 6-pin plug, which is that one there, which is fine. And then it's got our power lead, which is this one here, okay? Now it's simply got just an earth and a power, and that's from the HKS coil packs, okay? When we go to hook this up, that pin, that plug there for the actual coil packs goes straight in, not a problem at all, but the power lead is completely different. So what we're chasing is actually, the 32 actually has a 3-wire plug for the power. So I'm not exactly sure what that third wire is for. Obviously we're going to have one earth, one power, and then maybe a signal wire or something. But the way I'm going to find out and do is I actually have a brand new wiring specialties harness for the factory 32 coil pack loom. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull it apart and trace that third wire and see where it comes to. So this is our factory wiring specialties harness R32 coil pack loom. So coil packs, and then we've got our ignition plug, which has got the 6 wires for each coil pack, and then we've got the power loom. Now the reason we're doing this is our HKS coil kit is for an R33, and it only has a 2-wire power loom plug, whatever you want to call it. So what we're going to do is carefully cut this one apart. I'm never going to use this one. It's not for R35 coils anyway, so it's sort of rendered useless. Carefully cut him apart in case we can reuse any of the wiring. So it's probably just taped in up here somewhere, hopefully. Unfortunately, that one there is a ground wire, so it is all hooked up. So what that loop there for is to hook your your test light on, or your coil pack light, so you can get a signal. That's what that loop is there for, along with that one there. I could probably go through, cut this beautiful harness up and rewire it, but I'm not going to. I've simply just bought or purchased the correct wiring harness. So yeah, to save myself a bit of hassle and just to make it look all good, I've just gone ahead and purchased the right wiring loom. So we can leave this for now, that's sorted out. Let's go on to mounting up some sensors, and I'd like to get the HKS coilovers in. I was fortunate enough to have Brad restore this for me. So this is the center piece, or the center brace for the radiator support. So Brad's painted that and cleared it in KH2, and he's also done my horns for me, which is pretty cool. So genuine horns, looks pretty awesome. So I'm going to put that on now so I can finish off the aircon stuff. Hello and welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to be pulling the motor back out of the 32 because it's just going to be easier to do a few things I need to. So this week we actually have the fabricator coming to make up all our cold side, as you call it. So we were going to use silicon couplings, but that's sort of gone out the door now, and we're going to use Raceworks' new Wiggins clamps, Wiggins style clamps. So we got the fabricator coming in, we've ordered all our stuff, and then we're going to change the HKS intercooler kit. We're going to weld the Wiggins or Raceworks style clamps onto all the pipes, and we're going to get rid of all the rubber, like the silicon couplings. Now, the reason I'm pulling the motor out is we have to weld onto our Nismo intake manifold. Now, everybody knows the amount of hours and time that Brad spent on that manifold getting it perfect. So what we have to do is carefully weld onto the end of it. Now, we do have a bit of room to play with there. We've got like an inch of room before the paint. So the idea is that we can do it with some nice cool towels wrapped over the manifold to keep it cold, and we won't have any issues. So that'll be coming over the next few days. So today we've got all day today to pull the motor, just drop the motor back out. So these are the clamps that we're changing over to, getting rid of the rubber couplings. These things are absolutely sick. So they actually have in between there, when you undo the clamp and take it off, there's a series of O-rings which come in the pack. Easy as that, engine's out, nice and sweet, turbo helped. Good. Also, why the engine's out, I've had the dash 16 orb turn up, okay, not that one, this one. So dash 16 orb, and then a 90, which will go up to our breather, our crankcase breather. So our big crankcase breather on the other side, underneath the manifold, we can get to nice and easy with these parts here. And Dartone Racing, Anthony is going to fabricate me up a catch can, and we're going to run 2 catch cans. I'm going to run one for the valve covers, and then one as a crankcase breather. So I think just good crankcase ventilation on an RB26 is very important. So there's nothing wrong with running 2 catch cans. I want to run 2 catch cans because I don't like the idea of running the oil back to the sump. It's messy, especially on E85. So we'll see how we go. We might have to change it. How good is this? It's the Christmas break, guys, and I needed parts, and Andrew from Kudos Motorsports has sent stuff up overnight. Absolutely fantastic. KS metal gasket kit. That is for the intake manifold that we have to take back off. So as I said, I'm not going to risk it by reusing the gaskets because they cause so much drama. So thanks, Andrew, for getting that up overnight. I really appreciate it. I'll just go put this over here with all my other favourite HKS stuff. Beautiful. Got all our titanium intake manifold bolts off. We've got the intake manifold back off, and that's wire turbo. Why are we doing that, buddy? It's been hot as hell up here lately, so he's a little bit exhausted from the heat. One thing I did notice is while I'm playing around with the Dash 6 fittings is I actually grabbed one off the shelf and I went, wow, this is different. Have I ordered something wrong? And what I went to find out is they're actually a new style, which I think is absolutely sick. It's more cosmetic than anything, but I will show you what it is so you know exactly what the changes are, or what I think the changes are. Remember, this is from me. So I went to go to my Dash 6 settings here, Dash 6 fittings on the shelf. Now, as you can see, all the other styles have got like a sort of a skirt or a flare on where the tube goes. And if you've played around with these fittings, you'll also notice that the Dash 6, like your wrench size, is actually different on two. So I think there's two different sizes for the wrench. Just grab one of the old ones. Okay, so this is the old style and we've got a new style. Before we go through the changes and talk about the difference between the two, what I want to reiterate to all the Raceworks customers is that Raceworks will support their customers during this transition period to make sure they all have the same or matching parts, which is fantastic. So if you ever end up with the old style and the new style mixing on an order, just let us know and we'll get it sorted straight away, and Raceworks will send out your new fittings so they all match. Now let's go over what I can tell the differences are. So on the left is the old style with the skirt or little flare at the bottom, as you can see, and the new style straight away you can see doesn't have that. So it's to me it looks very smart. It looks like a much cleaner fitting, and I guess one of the reasons, and this is probably one of the reasons why they changed, but the new one now looks completely different. So this fitting is in a class of its own when it comes to AN fittings, and there's certain brands out there, I'm not going to name them, but they're all from the same sort of supplier and they're all very much the same. Now Raceworks have their own sort of deal where they get them from, where they produce them, and that's why they've done this change, because it now differentiates from all the other fittings on the market, which is really cool. But now if you have a look with the old fittings, and this is any number, so it could be Dash 6, Dash 8, Dash 10, all the same, whatever it may be, but you always needed to have two AN sizes, like spanner sizes, for the one fitting. So what they've now done is mix that all together, so you only need one size AN spanner to do the fitting. The other one is just, yeah, the skirt, which has gone off the bottom, and if you have a look at it in the center, if I can get that to focus, now when you do them up, there's actually a round circular bit that hasn't got the hex pattern on it. And when you tighten it up, I used to be really like OCD with mine, and when I tighten them up, I made sure all the hex sides lined up, just because I'm weird like that. Now with the new one, it doesn't matter where it finishes, it's going to line up and it looks really good. So that's the subtle changes that I can tell from the new fittings. I guess why I'm going on about Raceworks so much is for guys that don't know, the GTR will be at MotorX with Raceworks this year, so there's a little bit of pressure at the moment to make this thing as good as it can, and it will be fantastic no matter how it comes out, but these guys are helping me a great deal in achieving my goal. Thank you, Raceworks. Me being the idiot that I am, I completely forgot to film any of what I'm about to tell you, but we have been hard at it today with the fabricator getting some stuff done, so I apologise. I left the camera in the car and I forgot to even film because I was more intrigued of how we were doing it and the processes that he used. It's very basic and it's very simple stuff, but the way we had to do it, because the intake collector was already painted, is we had to do it slowly and heat it up and do all sorts of weird things, so I forgot to film, but I'm really glad we did it. So I'm doing a few things a little bit different this time while I've got the car out, and first thing I'm doing is I'm actually fitting the exhaust turbo, or the turbine wheel, up to the manifold, so it's all done and torqued up. I've used these really good Worth locking nuts. They've got a really good big flat head on them, so I had to cut the studs down here to get them in. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fit the turbo core in it. Okay, so before we unpackage the ECU and the computer and go through what it is, I just want to shout out to Mitch from Zoli Motorsport. Without Mitch, we could not have made this whole package happen, and I'm super happy with the brand we've gone for here. They're producing some of the best motorsport stuff in the world right now. I'm absolutely over the moon. So Mitch, thank you for helping us out with this package, and thank you for helping us moving forward with the GTR, and I'm pretty excited about that relationship. So guys, if you want any of this stuff you see, or any of the stuff on the website, which we will put up as soon as we avail it, give Mitch a call at Zoli Motorsport in Cairns. He can remotely help you throughout Australia. Top bloke, easy going, and he knows what he's talking about. Have a look and check it out. I'm pretty excited about it. Fuck! Just cut myself. Fucking look at that. Right on a razor blade. Let's check it out. And we have gone with Emtron. Absolutely sick. Hit this. This is so sick. Fuck. It's like a polished aluminium, like an anodized aluminium case. That is like, that's not plastic. That's sick. So that's we've gone with a Emtron KV8. The 8 stands for injectors. So we can have 8 injectors, KV12, you can run 12. The biggest thing that made my mind up with Emtron was the fact that they have full control over the Atessa unit. So there's a G sensor, there's a proper digital G sensor in this computer, and we can have a map in there that fully controls the Atessa unit, like from TPS, throttle load, throttle percentage, the whole lot, like your wheel speeds, everything, and it has a G sensor in there. So I know there is other computers out there on the market that will run the Atessa with a certain map, and that's the other most attractive thing about the Emtron is there's not many add-ons. Like pretty much the computer can control everything itself. So that there is a KV8, Emtron KV8. And then next in the box we will have, we've got our ED5. So this is a 5-inch display. So there's a ED5 or a ED7, and then also later on this year, Emtron are actually releasing a brand new brand new screen. But the ED5 suited me best. I only want a small sort of screen off to the side. I don't want the screen to be the whole dash like you would normally have it. So I've never actually seen an ED5, so this would be pretty cool to see. Yeah, that's pretty damn sick. Check that out. This bag is probably going to be all our thermo couplings maybe for the EGTs, I'm not sure. ED series display cable. Yeah, so this is an Emtron 8-button CAN keypad. So this will control things like our 3 modes for the Atessa, or we'll have our, you know, what else can we have on here? Launch control, cruise control, things like that. So it'll all be done from this button here. Dartone Racing also do a little holder for this, which sits in the R32 GTR center console. So I'll probably be getting that from Anthony at Dartone as well, to have this 8-button CAN keypad fitted. What else we got here? Oh, that's our plug and boot terminal for our wiring. That's our patch harness there. That's pretty cool. That's insane actually. That's a lot. The quality of this is a lot different than what I'm used to. This is insane. Like, there's nothing worse than getting your plug and play, or your plug and play kit, and it's like you get it and the whole thing is just covered in electrical tape and that mesh shit that they put on them. This is proper wiring, proper terminated, proper Deutz plugs. This is going to be epic. Fucking, I'm so pumped on this shit. I can't explain to you how pumped I am on this shit. So that's our bracket. Oh, look at that. You get a whole bracket. R32 GTR ECU mounting bracket. That's cool. So a proper bracket to mount it up out of the way. Whoa, got some stickers. Got some stickers for our 8-button can keypad. Got it right for once. Yeah, that's insane. Cool. Stickers, and then we've got one more box here, which is probably going to be our thermocoupling, I reckon. No. Oh, what the fuck that is? Yeah, that's the thermocoupler ETC8M. Cool. Well, there you have it, guys. Let's go over this and check it out.